Hello everyone, this is Logan59XP here for another episode of the Nin-Cast here on October 3rd of 2021, and today I'm here to give my quick thoughts on Venom, Let There Be Carnage. First things first before we go any further. Disclaimer, I did not see the first movie. Now, I don't think that really matters, personally, as someone that didn't see the first movie, but knows pretty much everything that happens in the first movie from like videos and stuff. It didn't really feel like it was that big a deal. I felt like the movie was able to exist just fine on its own. Not in the same way that I think Shang-Chi, held up pretty well as a standalone movie. It didn't really tie into anything else too much. I think that the second Venom movie, Let There Be Carnage, I think it holds up just fine without having to see the first one. And I think it's safe to say that even though the first one made a lot of money, if you didn't see the first one, you're gonna see the second one, because the second one has had this mystique around it of, is this gonna be the one that makes things official, if you know what I'm trying to say? We'll get to that, because that's the main thing I want to talk about with this movie. But before we talk about it, let's go and talk about the actual movie first. So, again, I didn't see the first one, but I liked to Let There Be Carnage. Tom Hardy. I've heard people talk about how Tom Hardy and Venom, their chemistry and stuff is one of the best parts of the first movie, and it's here. That's very much a thing. In fact, it's actually one of the main conflicts. Kind of at the middle of the movie, there's a part where Venom and Eddie Brock actually split up, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that happened in the first one, but if it didn't, I assume it didn't, because why would they do it in this one if they did it in the first one? Because when they want to build up to it, whatever. My point is, if you liked Venom and Eddie Brock's back and forths from the first movie, you're gonna like it here, because they definitely have their share of kind of quote unquote funny scenes where they're clearly trying to get a laugh. Like they have that scene in the nightclub or whatever. I don't know if it's actually a nightclub, or Venom is just kind of taking over random people, and he's wearing those neon glow rings you get at festivals and stuff, which is kind of weird. There's that scene where dang it, I forgot her name. I want to say Michelle, but please don't shoot me. I didn't see the first one. I know that she's a bigger thing in the first one than she is in this one, I think. Again, don't shoot me. I want to make that crystal clear. I did not see the first one, so everything I'm about to say is coming from someone that has not seen the first one, but knows what happens in the first one, kind of, sort of, maybe, whatever. We'll just keep going. So, but yeah, there's that segment where, again, I don't know if her name is... No, I don't think it's Michelle. No, I think I have a certain other a SpiderMan related thing on the brain right now. But the love interest. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. I'll just call her the love interest, because that's obviously what she is. Eddie Brock's love interest, because again, I don't remember her name. I'm sorry, but yeah, like when they go to Mrs. Chang, I believe is her name, the shop that was in the first movie. And they're trying to find Venom or Eddie or whatever, and then of course Venom has taken over Mrs. Chang. Again, I hope I'm not butchering her name. Apologies. And then they have this scene where, well, first things first, they have Venom's eyes take over her real eyes, and that's kind of weird. But then they have this segment that I'm pretty sure would never be in an actual MCU movie, but the theater definitely got a laugh out of it. And that was this scene where the love interest is trying to swoon Venom, and it's kind of weird but kind of neat. I don't know, it was interesting, I'll say that much. I was kind of man, they wouldn't have done that in an MCU movie. At least I don't think they would have. Another thing they wouldn't have done in an MCU movie, near the end of the movie, after the final fight with Carnage, they have a okay, so you know how in PG-13 movies you're allowed one F-bomb before you get one or two F-bombs before it has to go up to an R for some reason? And there's that one scene in First Class that people always talk about as the best way to use an F-bomb in a PG-13 movie ever. Well, I know the first movie uses the PG-13 one F-bomb, and this one does too. That happens at one point, and Venom is the one that says it, unlike Tom Hardy, who he says it in the first movie, but Venom says it in this one. So yeah, there's that. the fight with Carnage, like all the scenes where they have Carnage, fighting things or whatever, that stuff was neat. He's got his nice red color that distinguishes him from Venom. Unlike Venom, who doesn't really use his I don't know what you want to call him. I guess tentacles, tendrils, whatever you want to call him. Carnage definitely uses that way more than Venom does, which is something that makes him stand out more. Especially considering that, unlike in the first movie where the villain was Riot, and Riot was basically just Venom but gray, Carnage does not feel like red Venom. He is his own thing. Yes, he is technically red. Again, now, another thing I should make clear. I don't know squat about Cletus Cassidy. I want to make that clear right now. Or Carnage really all that much. So, please take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But you can tell that even though he is red Venom, he's not literally just red Venom. He's very, the fact that he uses his tendrils, tentacles, whatever you want to call him, a lot, kind of makes him, distinguish himself from Venom, where Venom is normally just in his, big, brute form, where he's not really doing much outside of just, eating heads or punching people or throwing people. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Carnage stands out. He's very much his own thing, and that's nice. Woody Harrelson, Cletus Cassidy. I don't really have much to say with him, honestly. I mean, I don't have any problem with him, but I also don't have anything to say about him because I don't really know enough about that character to really comment on him. I think, at the very least, as someone that doesn't know squat about Cletus Cassidy or Carnage, it worked. So, I'll call that a win right there as far as I'm concerned. And, and also the movie is, fairly short. It's, an hour and 30 minutes, and I knew that going in. I knew that it was, a fairly short movie, compared to at least, a bunch of the other Marvel movies, which are normally, at least 2 hours. This one being an hour and 30 minutes, it definitely feels, at the beginning, it is a little slow, but in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't take that long before they get into, the scenes you'd be expecting to see. And it's kind of that went by fairly quickly. Which, I mean, I guess in some ways is a good thing, because no one likes a movie where they just draw everything out for the sake of, because of reasons. I like that, say what you will about Sony and some of their other movies, or the first movie, but I like that they don't drag their feet. I mean, again, I didn't see the first one, so I can't really comment on what the pacing of the first one is, and I'm by no means an expert on movie pacing or whatever. I want to make that clear. But I don't know. I thought it worked. I liked that they didn't draw things out. And the ending scene of the movie, before we get into the meat here, was definitely a very Venom, like this incarnation of Venom way to end it, with them on a beach. Sure, why not? But yeah, so Venom Let There Be Carnage. I really don't have that much to say about the movie itself. I know I've said that in the past whenever I'm like, I don't have that much to say about it, and then I make it a 45 minutes video, but I really mean it this time. I really don't have that much to say about it. It's solid. I don't have anything else to say with that. Tom Hardy's good, Venom's good, Carnage is good. It's fairly fast-paced. It doesn't drag. That's all I really gotta say about it. It's solid. I didn't see the first one, but I can at least say this one is, at the very least, pretty decent. Now let's get into the meat of this. Now, when I was actually in line getting, my snacks and stuff before the movie, before we went into the theater, I actually me and my friend, whatever, we were actually talking to one of the people online. He was like, yeah, I'm really into these movies. He's like, oh yeah, I'm really into these movies. I gotta see them, obviously, every time they come out. And then he mentioned, but the main reason I want to see this one is for the post-credits scene. Also, the person that was actually doing, the cashier or whatever, he also was talking about the post-credits scene. Obviously, they didn't say what the post-credits scene was, but that they were like, oh yeah, the post-credits scene. What do you think the post-credits scene's gonna be? It's so interesting. And this is kind of one of the things that I always thought was interesting going into this movie, is that, at least for me, the main reason why I wanted to see this movie was not for the movie itself. The movie was just a bonus to the post-credits scene. That's pretty much what the guy in front of me that I was talking to was. He was basically like, yeah, I'm here for the post-credits scene. I'm sure the movie will be good and all, but I'm here for the post-credits scene. I gotta see that, because From what we've heard, it's gonna be crazy. And the guy at the cashier that was also talking about the post-credits scene, now he had already seen the movie. He didn't, of course, spoil anything for us, but he did see it, and he asked me, what do I think the post-credits scene is going to be about? And I said, I think it is going to be about Spider-Man and the MCU. And he just kind of sat there and like nodded. And he was like, well, yeah, all right. Well, I guess you'll see. And then he mentioned the whole thing about, oh yeah, by the way, the movie's like not that long. And I'm like, yeah, I do know about that. but yeah, so enough of the preamble. Let's talk about the number one reason why those guys, and probably a lot of you guys went to see this movie. The post-credits scene. Why? Well, basically because up until when the first Venom came out, it was the beginning of Sony's Spider-Man universe, formerly known as the Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters, a name that literally everyone on the planet agreed was stupid and needed to be changed. It was also called Spunk. Yeah, we had the MCU and then we had Spunk, and it was like really weird. However, like about a month or so ago, they renamed it to Sony's Spider-Man Universe, which is so much better and what they should have just called it in the first place. But of course, people were asking themselves, okay, first things first, let's rewind to 2019. The breakup, the infamous Spider-Man breakup between Sony and Disney happened. And then it ended up getting resolved. And as a part of that deal, Spider-Man was going to be in one more MCU Spider-Man movie, which of course is going to be the upcoming No Way Home, and then and then an appearance in another MCU project, which we haven't seen yet, but obviously is coming eventually. We also knew that there was a fourth Spider-Man movie in development, and that unlike the original 2015 deal, which specified that Spider-Man can only be in one universe at a time, with this one it changed. With the 2019 deal, they changed it so now Spider-Man can be in both the MCU and the Sony universe at the same time. And this was confirmed by Kevin Feige, who at the time said Spider-Man is one of the few, superheroes that can cross universes or something like that, which basically confirmed that he's going to be showing up in the Sony universe. But unlike a lot of other people, now here's something. A lot of people have been saying No Way Home and the whole multiverse thing going on with that, that's Sony's way of getting Spider-Man into their universe permanently and leaving the MCU. I call nonsense on that. After the 2019 fiasco, there is no way in hell that Spider-Man is leaving the MCU anytime soon. In fact, I think he's going to be in the MCU pretty much indefinitely. I'm going to go that far. I think he is way too important to both Sony and Disney for them to not keep him in. Plus, as I just said, Kevin Feige said that he has the ability to cross between universes. Translation, go to the MCU and the Sony universe, back and forth. That's what I think is going to happen. I think what's going to happen is after No Way Home, Spider-Man will probably go to the Sony universe, but he will also come back to the MCU. I think he's going to be in both. I think he's going to be in both universes. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think he's going to just leave the MCU permanently and then stay in the Sony universe forever. No, I don't buy that. He's going to be in the MCU and the Sony universe, which is beneficial to both, by the way, because of course Disney and Marvel would love to keep Spider-Man in their movies for as long as possible, but also Sony gets free promotion for their own movies simply by having Spider-Man being in both. Because people will be like, hey, the MCU Spider-Man is in this new Venom movie, or Morbius movie, or Sinister Six movie, or whatever the heck they're going to be planning in their own universe or whatever. Now I gotta go see it because MCU Spider-Man's in it, because Tom Holland's in it. So it's literally beneficial to both Disney and Sony to keep the arrangement going. I think after this current 2019 contract ends, they're going to do another one where he's going to be around for probably another trilogy of films, more MCU appearances, but he'll also appear in the Sony universe now. I think he'll be in both. But anyways, now let's actually talk about the post-credits scene. Okay, so the post-credits scene starts with, Eddie Brock and Venom just kind of, in like that tropical island place that you saw in the final shot of the movie where they're looking at the beach. They're like in their little cabin or whatever. It's like, okay. And then Venom's talking about how there's a lot of stuff that symbiotes know about and have seen that, that would like blow your mind. You wouldn't be able to understand it or something. And then, Venom's like, would you like me to show you one? Would you like me to show you something? And then, Tom Hardy's like, yeah, sure. And then all of a sudden, the room starts to shake, and then outside you can see something happening, and then all of a sudden it stops. And then Tom Hardy is like, wait, like Venom and Tom Hardy are like, wait, what's going on? What'd you going on? Did you do that? No, I didn't do that. All this is going on. And then the moment we have all been waiting for happened. Ever since the 2019 deal happened, people, including me, have been saying, this is going to tie in. They're officially going to make the connect. We've seen the Morbius trailer. We had the Morbius trailer with Michael Keaton in it. We already had that. And that was basically already confirmation. But now, in an official movie that is publicly released, it's confirmed. Because then because they're watching something on TV. And then after that whole anomaly thing happens, the TV changes to the dailybugle.net, because there's the regular Daily Bugle in the Sony universe. They show that the newspaper that's exactly the same as the Sam Raimi newspaper, even though it's not the Sam Raimi universe, of course, because of course the Sam Raimi universe has, of course, its own Venom, Topher Grace. So that obviously it's not the same universe. They just carried over that design because they own the rights to it, I guess. But then we see the dailybugle.net, as in what we saw in Far From Home with J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson talking about Spider-Man's revealed identity, and then the money shot. Tom Holland in the Far From Home costume with his mask off, and then Venom walks up to the TV and he's like, he's like, wait, I think I know this guy, or something like that, and then that's pretty much where it ends. But oh man, I was feeling something when that whole scene was going throughout. Like the second that something was happening, and the second that the room started to shake and we started to see a bright light outside, I was like, oh, here it is, man, here it is, the multiverse, here it is. Like, I knew it was the multiverse immediately. This is the multiverse. This is how they're going to connect it. And then, obviously, well, yep. That's how they do it, pretty much. And they don't, a part of me was wondering if they were going to go as far as to say, like, are they going to actually go as far as to be, like, Venom, I know that this is the Sony universe, and they do their own thing, but a part of me was wondering if after that, were they going to actually pull a Venom will return in Spider-Man Far From Home, No Way Home or something. But no, they just cut to black and then they cut to like the regular credits. But holy. We gotta talk about this now. I think I said this earlier, but I'll say it again just in case I didn't. I unfortunately was spoiled on this. I mean, we all speculated this was basically how the post-credit scene was going to end up being. But unfortunately, I already knew that Tom Holland was going to be in it because a certain YouTuber who if I already said this part, apologies for me repeating it again. I just don't remember if I said it already. But I'll just say a certain YouTuber, I won't name names, but a certain YouTuber that I follow that puts out Marvel videos a lot, put up a thumbnail, like a thumbnail for one of his videos like that you put up yesterday, had Tom Holland like a theater phone screenshot of it, and it's like Venom, let there be carnage, post-credits scene explained or something, and it's like, oh boy, well, I guess now I know for sure he's in it. But yeah, so this is obviously huge. If you were not of the belief after the 2019 deal and after Michael Keaton showed up in the Morbius trailer, if you still didn't believe that the Sony universe and the MCU were going to connect, it's here. It's officially happening. It's officially happening, and you bet your ass I'm excited. So, what do I think actually happened in that post-credit scene? Well, what I think happened is... Okay, so you know how in the Far From Home trailer, Doctor Strange, of course, he's trying to fix he's trying to make it so that everyone forgets that Peter is Spider-Man and he can go back to his secret life. But then Peter's like, no, what about Ned? What about MJ? What about Aunt May? They need to know who I am. Then of course he's like, stop tampering with the spell. And then he screws everything up. And then then of course that's how we get Alfred Molina, Willem Dafoe, all those guys coming in here. That's how we're gonna get Toby and Andrew coming in here. Yes, they're going to be in No Way Home. If you seriously believe at this stage in the game that Toby and Andrew are not going to be in this movie, you're insane. Now, you can make the argument that they're not in the movie for that long, but they are absolutely 100% in this movie in some way, shape, or form. End of discussion. But enough about that. This is not a Far From Home discussion. This is a Venom discussion, kinda. But anyways. But you know how in the trailer, he messes up the spell, and everything goes awry, and that's how the multiverse villains come in. I think that's what the thing we saw in the post-credits scene was. I think that big flash of light where everything shook, I think that was Doctor Strange's spell from Far From Home. So I think that Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Far From Home are taking place at the exact same time, albeit in, of course, different universes, but, like I don't know what the actual, because No Way Home's gonna take place during Christmas, right? So we'll say December, which is when the movie's ironically coming out. So Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Spider-Man No Way Home both take place in December at the same pretty much time, and that's why when Doctor Strange does his spell, when it ruptures the multiverse, it ruptures the multiverse for the Sony universe, and then of course that's how they end up being in the MCU. And that's basically what I think the post-credit scene amounts to is, I think Venom and Eddie Brock are now in the MCU. Obviously not forever, but as of right now, they're in the MCU. That's very clearly what the credit scene is implying. Doctor Strange's spell affected the Sony universe and dragged Eddie and Venom into it. And now, they're in the MCU. Because why else would they have the broadcast of Tom Holland's Spider-Man on the TV, where he's been revealed? Why else would they have that if he wasn't in the MCU? So, as of right now, Venom and Eddie Brock are in the MCU. Which of course brings up the question. If there's one thing about No Way Home that hasn't been definitively leaked, is Venom in this movie? People have speculated, especially considering that Let There Be Carnage is came out 2 months before. It's like, maybe they're trying to line this up so they can have it work. But after this post-credits scene, man, they're really implying that. They're really implying it. I mean, why else would you have them be transported into the MCU and then showing Spider-Man on screen, which from what I've read actually is actually footage from No Way Home. Like, I actually think, from what I've read, at least on Wikipedia. I know, Wikipedia, whatever. But on Wikipedia, on the Venom Let There Be Carnage page, it says that the post-credit scene is literally like the TV broadcast is literally footage from No Way Home. So that even more further confirms that yes, Venom Let There Be Carnage takes place at the same time that No Way Home does, even though they're in two different universes. It's the same way that Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place at the same time as Infinity War, even though it doesn't matter for the majority of the movie and it only really matters at the end, because of course the post-credit scene of Ant-Man and the Wasp is of course, the thing where they all get snapped, because it takes place at the same time as Infinity War. It's the same case here, but with Venom and No Way Home, except Venom is of course in the Sony universe, and No Way Home is of course in the MCU. But yeah, so basically, long story short, you want the takeaway from this post-credit scene? Venom and Eddie Brock are officially, as of now, obviously not permanently, are in the MCU. And quite possibly might actually show up in No Way Home. I don't want... See, See, this whole thing is so weird because No Way Home, man, this movie, there's so much hype going into this movie. Like I'm sure many of you, pretty much probably all of you, this No Way Home is my most anticipated movie right now. Easily. Not even close. But man, they have so much to live up to. First, we have the multiverse villains. Now we're gonna get Toby and Andrew. Again, it's not 100% confirmed, but they're in the movie. Come on, they're in the movie. And now we're gonna potentially have Venom. How are they gonna make this work? I can't wait to see it. But man, how are they gonna make this work? How are they gonna make this work? You know, part of me think. I'm actually gonna say this. Even though they're implying that Venom is going to be in No Way Home with this post-credits scene, I'm actually going to go as far as to say that's not what's going to happen. I think that he will appear in an MCU Spider-Man movie, or he will appear with Tom Holland eventually, but not in No Way Home. No Way Home has way too much stuff going on, but at the same time, though, it would fit. I don't know. At the same time, it would fit. It would fit though, because the whole point of No Way Home is that we're bringing all the multiverses together. You know, we got the TASM universe with, you know, Scorpion and did I say Scorpion? Lizard, you know, the Lizard and Electro. Ignore the fact that I said Scorpion. Am I thinking about Scorpion? Whatever. We got the TASM universe villains. We got, of course, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. We got Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. There's rumors about, what's his name? Something Church, like the guy that played Sandman in Spider-Man 3. Like, we're bringing, and then you know, then it's like, what about Mysterio? You know, he's still like. And then now we're gonna bring in Venom. So we're gonna have 4 if you count the MCU. We're gonna have the MCU. We're going to have the TASM universe, we're going to have the Sam Raimi universe, and then we're going to have the new Sony Venom universe. All converging at once in one movie. How they're going to pull that off is beyond me, but man, I cannot wait to see it. So, yeah. Venom Let There Be Carnage, it's a solid movie, but man, if I wasn't already looking forward to No Way Home, it's just increased by like another 2 or 3. That's just increased by at least another 25%. Like, man, I really hope Marvel and Sony can pull off No Way Home, because this movie, on paper, is kind of building up to being another TASM 2, Spider-Man 3 type fiasco where there's so much going on. Are they really going to be able to pull it off? I mean, we'll see, but regardless of whether or not it ends up being a mess or being amazing, I want to see it no matter what. I think we can all agree on that one. So, what did you all think of Venom Let There Be Carnage? And what did you think of the post-credits scene? And do you think we're going to be getting Venom in No Way Home? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And with that being said, this is Logan59XP, and I will see you guys next time.